it is time to do it. We've reached podcast number 50, and believe it or not, we've done it. We created our top 10 favorite songs of all time list. Now, disclaimer. Even though the title may or may not say so, I don't know that yet. These songs are not the top 10 best songs of all time.
Trust me, the title will say that.
Yeah. They are the top 10 favorite songs of me and JJ respectively.
It just doesn't sound so nice, right?
I know. Because no one cares about our opinions, right?
Oh, I'm pretty sure at this point...
Maybe some of y'all do. If you do, then prove me wrong. But
also, this is going to be the podcast where the songs of the week are going to be the worst songs of the podcast.
Probably true, yeah, unless it's on your list.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of stupid to pick a song that you already talked about.
Likely true. Very likely true. Okay, so tell me about how you went about this process.
Well, so...
if you didn't already know, this whole podcast is going to be about this, so there's barely anything else. But there is
going to be some special announcement.
There's a huge announcement in the halftime show, but don't skip it too. There, come on, listen to our music stuff. Man.
Okay, so first of all,
right.
I didn't want to pick anything that I had recently added to my playlist.
Did you set specific dates?
Well, I kind of did, because I usually add stuff to the playlist on YouTube, and then I'll download them in batches.
Yes.
So I was like, I'm not going to use anything from the last batch.
Okay.
I can't tell you the exact dates, but...
Yeah, it's okay.
So, I said nothing from that batch, even though some of those...
Too recent.
Even though some of those are songs that I rediscovered, but it's like, oh yeah, I haven't listened to this in 10 years. You are going to automatically like the really new songs better.
Yeah, of course, because
for the first bit.
About it. That's a
so
psychological effect, of course.
Nothing from that. Then I went just through my list, and I basically picked out all the songs that I thought could potentially be in the top 10.
Similar as to how I did it.
And I tried to, while doing that, already kind of order them, although that didn't really work.
That's tough.
So the final list is nothing like that list was. So I did that, and then I had a list of, I think it was 42 songs. Those I then added in a playlist, all to one playlist.
Yeah.
And by listening through those a bit, I just threw out the first ones that were like, oh no, this actually was a mistake, putting this on here is worse than the rest, clearly. That I think eliminated like 4 songs, because I did already sift properly before that. And then I did basically the song versuses.
Okay.
To get a rough idea.
So did you put every song against every other song?
No. That's a bit much. But I think I put like, I had 38 songs at that point. I think I ended up putting like about 20 pairings. Okay. Just to get a rough idea. Mm-hmm. And then based on that, I then entered the first few songs into the top 10 list. And then I basically always went like, oh yeah, I'm adding this song to the list now. Is it better than the worst song that's currently in there? That kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, and then I basically compared them on a case-by-case basis. Like, whenever I was like, okay, this song, okay, no, this is actually worse than everything that's in here already. It's just throw it.
Yeah.
And then, that's how I then was like, okay, this song. Is it better than the 10th song on this list? Yeah. Is it better than the 9th song?
Yeah,
I work my way up.
Okay.
That was... Oh, boy.
It's a task, right?
Because at that point, the songs are so close.
Yeah,
some of them.
So tough. I messaged JJ last night when I was sitting at home on my computer doing the same. I was like, this is harder than traveling to Mars. That's what I said.
Yeah, and you also said you had like 25 songs out there, which one I still had 38, so...
That's literally what I said. So here's how I did it. I've already mentioned the evaluation grid. So what I did, the first step was basically the same as for you. I went on ahead and picked about 50 songs from my playlist. I picked them out that I would consider. So...
Which was already tough for me.
Exactly. I applied... The first filter I applied basically was that the song, for it to be eligible for the list, I need to consciously know and have appreciated it for no less than 1 full calendar year. So basically the time that our channel has existed.
Yeah. Our channel has existed for about a year, man.
Pretty crazy. And any song that wasn't meeting that condition, I would throw out. It wouldn't be eligible for the list. So I had the evaluation grid, and I've shown it to you before. I still have it right here. So I basically divided it up into 8 categories. I got 8. I kicked out the AC/DC point because I was going to use it as a... I was considering still using it as a tiebreaker, second or third string tiebreaker, but with the top 10 songs, there's really, like, it doesn't break any ties.
Yeah.
Because
everything should be above.
Obviously, so I kicked it out.
Also, it would be weird if you had a song that was below...
Yeah.
And use it as a tiebreaker, and then had another song that had higher numeric values. Yeah. One that had higher numeric values that was under the AC point, and another one that had lower values that was over it. Would be weird.
So I'm going to explain the grid real quick, and I explain on how I went on evaluating that, and then why it's not the perfect method either, because I definitely noticed that. So I divided it up into the categories casual, which is basically just me sitting around listening to that song in a casual environment.
Which is what I cared about most for this entire thing.
I evaluated small time party, which is what I consider a barbecue, camping, friend gathering of no more than 10 people, close acquaintances. Big time party, which is like a concert type of thing, like a bigger event, obviously. The gym, then the legendary status of the song in my personal view. So how long have I known it, but also the legendary status in general, right? Yeah. Then emotional factor, which I still don't have a good definition for. It's probably closely related to message and lyrics, probably the way I perceive them, and the catchiness. So I would rate them all on a scale from 0 to 99, or 1 to 99, whatever. I'm going to drop some interesting facts, though. I think, out of all the songs I dished out, 399 ratings.
Okay.
And if I can find them, because I don't line them in here. Okay, so I rated in the legendary category 99 points to Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan.
Yes.
I rated 99 points in the catchy category to The Mysterious Mr. Jones by Slade. And I rated 99 in terms of message and lyrics to American Pie by Don McLean.
All right.
No other 99 ratings were dished out.
Talking about songs that you put in 99 ratings into.
Yes.
That reminds me of one thing that I did.
All right.
In addition to making my top 10 list, I also, and this seems like a card trick, but look at this deck of cards, and then that's totally,
There's what?
There's a
prediction.
Piece of paper in there
right.
with a prediction of...
there is a paper. It would have been all better if we had a camera, but
yeah. So there is a prediction of, I believe, 4 songs in one band that I think will be represented in your top 10 list.
So at least one band and 4 specific songs.
Yes, one of which you already mentioned.
Okay, that's rough.
And I'm gonna give that to you now.
Right. So I was supposed to look at it?
Don't look at it till we went through your entire list.
I'm gonna keep it. Okay, so...
Just so that I can manipulate it anymore.
Okay, let me also make one prediction, and specifically how... We can both make it. How many songs will be featured on both lists?
Less or equal to 3. There you go.
I'm gonna say 2 songs. I'm certain about one, and I'm just taking the off chance that there is another one.
Okay, I would think that it... Let me look at my list again. Just...
Certain about one. Not sure if there's a second one, but but there just might be.
I'm gonna say 1 or 2 probably.
Okay.
Not the one maybe the one you're thinking of. I'm not sure.
I'm fairly certain about one, but anyway.
That one, I know that we probably will have both songs by that artist. Not sure if it's that exact song. Anyways.
Okay. So then I went on ahead. You can look at my computer screen if you want to a little bit. So I went ahead and got me,
I'm seeing a huge ass
calculation program. So I entered all the songs that were evaluated in that thing, right? I added them all in there and calculated the totals.
Oh, yeah.
So, but then I noticed those categories aren't all the same importance.
Yeah, they should be weighted. Right?
So I started weighing them, right? So I weighed casual 15%.
Okay.
Small time, big time party 10%. This should be gym 10%. And the last 4, 15% for legend, and I think only 10% for message and lyrics.
Question: does it add up to 100?
It does add up to 100. I checked that. So 50%.
Because it literally doesn't matter.
Emotional catchy and 10% for message lyrics. So I got new numbers from that, and those were all really awful numbers, and got a result from that. Now, I sorted all the numbers that I basically received from that by order, so highest to lowest, And then from that new list that I got, I kicked out all songs but the top 25.
Okay, yeah.
And that's basically the top 25 where it stood. So then I realized that 2 of the songs, which I'm going to mention because they're not going to be on the list, were actually ineligible by the first rule, which is no longer than a year.
Yes.
The first song of which is Over the Circus by Andrew Lloyd Webber, which it's pretty close. I've added it to my playlist in September.
Okay.
Of 2017, but it's ineligible. The other one that was questionable actually. It was City of New Orleans. Because...
Which version?
The Me First and the Gimme Gimme version.
Also, by the way, that's another rule that I put for myself, which didn't end up having a huge effect on the thing, but only one version per song.
Obviously, right?
Like, I would not enter
At the point where I started creating the evaluation grid, I wasn't sure about which version to use. But as the Me First version definitely crystallized itself out as the favorite version of mine.
Yeah.
I then only realized that specific version I didn't have for a full year. So that was also disqualified. Both of those actually ranked in the top 15 of that evaluation list. So then what I did is kind of similar to you. I took some examples of putting songs against each other, started listening to stuff. I read through lyrics a little bit more, and I did some research on the background of stuff.
Okay, that's the kind of stuff that I literally don't care about.
So, for example, I took into consideration date added. So, if there was a song that I known like for way longer, that's a plus point. If the song is completely original, that's a plus point. Stuff like that, right? And then I basically started putting together the top 10 list. And so much for that. Let's just start off, right? So, would you like to announce your number 10 song?
Number 10 song, and probably the song that, from a non-personal standpoint, is probably most deserved on this list.
From a non-personal standpoint?
Yeah, from a general success,
it's a really good
influence
song.
On actual, influence on the music industry, that kind of stuff.
All right.
Hey Jude by the Beatles.
Wow. All right.
Number 10.
The Beatles make an early impact. I can see why, and I know that's a sensible choice.
I also did at one point look at some other people's top 10 lists.
Yeah.
Which usually was like most influential, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Not necessarily to influence my choice, but just because I was curious. Because
exactly. I did the same thing.
You did that, and I was like, what kind of stuff does come up when you do that? And it also was one of those that did appear a lot on those types of things.
Stuff.
So yeah. Anyways,
my number. Okay, you want to hear my number 10?
Yeah,
I
sure.
want to explain. Okay, my number 10 song is gonna be "Californication" by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
All right.
That's my number 10 song.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It's a really good song. I've known it for a lot longer than it's been in my playlist.
Yes.
Specifically because I've known the Peppers for way longer than I've had a phone.
Yeah.
And there was a time when I actually lost most of the musical files that I had on my phone. I had to re-download them and all that. And this version, I have all the dates added. By the way, I'm gonna read it out. So, "Californication" was added to this playlist on the 18th of April 2017. So not much longer than a year ago.
Okay.
But I knew the song for way longer than that. So yeah, it's my number 10 song on the list. And you know what? Let's get to number 9. We can discuss a bit later because we have a lot of time in the second topic as well.
Yes. My number 9, and I know you like this song.
All right.
It's "Lady in Black" by Uriah Heep.
Yikes. That is really good.
It's a really good song.
Yeah, I like it. I had it in consideration, and it was I believe, I'm gonna check that. Don't look at my screen at the moment. I believe it was in my top. It definitely was in my top 38. And yes, it was actually after the evaluation grid and doing all the math. It was ranked 22nd on my list. Yeah, I can definitely see why. It was definitely consideration. Probably the best. The best Uriah Heep song, obviously.
Yeah. That's also the only Uriah Heep song in my top 10 list. Spoilers.
Yeah, I would not expect it. Else. It was only the only one that I was considering. So I probably had this rated pretty high in Legendary, and Message and Lyrics probably too. And it's kind of catchy. It's it's low key catchy.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's a sleeper catchy song.
That's one of the big reasons why it's in there.
Yeah. Small Time Party rating is probably close to 90.
And it's always usually a combination of like the catchiness and like and the sing along factor and that kind of stuff, and nostalgia.
Yeah,
which is always what goes.
Well, yeah, it's a really old song, and it's one of those songs.
It's one of those that I basically known forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same.
And while I have only, comparative to my whole lifespan, recently started actually actively creating a music list.
Yes,
this is one that I've really known.
It's also one of the songs that kind of keeps on giving in a way that you've known it since you were like 5, but you start understanding it more and more when you get older.
Yeah.
So there's certain songs that do that, where it's like there's more meaning behind it than you initially realize.
This is also, I think it's also one of those where you showed it to me and I was like, oh, that one! Yeah. I can't believe I haven't heard this in a few years.
It's also one of the old school songs, like from the days when, from the high school days, man, when we were sitting around listening to music all day. Like, it was one of the earlier ones.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was.
Okay.
My number 9 song, also, well, in the grand scheme of things, a more recent edition, it's probably 1.5 years now, is gonna be Center Field by John Fogerty.
Okay.
And I believed, before everything else went down, I believed this song to be a surefire top 5 song.
Okay.
But it turns out it's not.
There are those where you think, oh, this is gonna be in there. It's like, no.
It's got knocked back by basically the tiebreaker of Date L, because it's one of the more recent ones, because there's definitely older songs in there. And like it's hard to explain because there's really no negativity about the song. There is no, well, a weak point of this song is definitely the message and lyrics part. It's just not that like deep in meaning. There's clever references in there. There's references to Casey at the Bat, which is my favorite poem about sports. Also my second favorite poem of all time. There's some nice stuff in there. And I love John Fogerty and his voice. And it's probably my favorite song by himself. But, yeah, that's kind of where it lacks a little bit if you want to weigh that in. And it's also, of course, not the greatest song in the gym.
Yeah.
So, there was kind of a big difference in some songs in certain categories. Like, certain legendary songs are really good, but they're just not that great in a gym. So the evaluation grid was more about versatility than actually being all around great.
You know what? The gym factor is one of those that I think stood out to me as the most odd of the ones you chose. Right. But then again, you spend a lot of time there.
Yeah,
so
I spend a lot of time there, and I always listen to music there. So that's a big part of like the big part of the gym experience is the music that I listen to, right? Because that has a high influence on you, especially in that situation. That's why I put it in there. I know for you that would have made no sense, right?
Yeah,
obviously. So that's my number 9 song.
There is a lot of songs that I've listened to every single time I go to the gym because I never go.
Exactly. Never in your life should have felt that.
I did actually, but that's...
Did it? Wow, I gotta tell that story one time.
You know how I used to do martial arts?
Oh, right.
They had that in the back room of the gym.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's what I do at my gym too. True, of course.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. Wonderful.
The next one...
Never touched the weights, though.
No. Touched maybe, but never lifted.
Yeah.
The next one might seem a bit more odd than the previous ones.
All right.
But it is a pretty good song. It has a lot of energy to it, which is probably one of the big reasons why I picked it.
Yes.
And it does have some interesting lyrics, definitely. It's Red Flag by Billy Talent.
Wow. Okay, that's actually a really good song. I can see why you put that on there. It's catchy. It's high energy. It's really high energy. It's one of the most high energy songs that is there. And yeah, when you think about it, the lyrics and the meaning are there.
Yeah.
There's some criticism there, some social commentary in there. I'm not opposed to it.
It's also not like somewhere it's kind of hidden in there. It's like some of the lyrics are very straightforward. Like,
well, yeah,
of
course. But sometimes that's not the worst thing ever, because this is one of the songs that
tomorrow and he today when they live in the sins of yesterday.
Exactly, that's one of the songs that would score big time in the for my evaluation in the big time party department. And in that sort of situation, you don't necessarily need the most complicated and convoluted lyrics.
Yeah,
that need like analyzing and some like Harvard professor to understand and get the meaning behind. and like essays of analysis, right? So that's kind of like the category of Born in the USA. There's social criticism in there. It's a clever song. It's not too complicated. It's the common people that will understand it. It could be at a loud rock concert, right?
Yeah.
And where people are maybe slightly or a bit more intoxicated and still get what they're talking, still get what it's about. So yeah, I'm not opposed to that song, man. So far your list has been a lot better than I would have expected. It seems like you've actually taken into consideration past and meaning behind stuff a little bit more than I would have expected you to be more spontaneous and have like 3 Hammerfall songs on there, because that's like your oddly flavored flavor of the month.
Because of the list, because of the rule of stuff that has been added recently not being able to be in there, there would have only been 2 Hammerfall songs that would be eligible. Okay. One of which is a cover song, still the best version. But it would have only been Last Man Standing and My Sharona that would have actually been eligible. And I'm just gonna say this now. Last Man Standing was in the 42 songs. Right. As a matter of fact, it was also in the 38.
Okay.
But it didn't make the top 10 list.
Okay, so that's one of your honorable mentions.
I guess, yeah.
Okay, so we can do honorable mentions at halftime, like after the facts or before, whatever. So
I didn't actually write down any honorable mentions.
Yeah, but use them from your head. I'll just use the ones that didn't make my list because I got all the documents with me.
Yeah, I know.
So I'll just use those ones. I'm just reading off like 38 up until like 11.
Also, talking about the process just one more time, because I just remembered that I actually I made a playlist to actually be able to more quickly listen to all the songs. And I did at the end, when I kicked the song, I also kicked it from the playlist, so as to make it simple. Mm-hmm. And I did at the end actually make the playlist ordered exactly as the top 10 list. And just listened through it one more time and was like, am I happy with this?
Alright. Like you ordered it from high to low?
Yeah.
So it was like, does it get worse from there? Is it the first song the best song?
It's tough to call it getting worse because it is the top 10, but so it's like, crazy. Because if I listen through this playlist and I get more hyped, it's like, nope, this is the wrong order. Yeah. It didn't happen, but it could have.
Even though that's kind of a danger to slip into that like here and now territory. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, do I like this song better now? A big part of the whole thing was always to take a moment and take the time and consider myself in 2015 and myself in 2012. What were my songs then? Which one would I have preferred back then? Which one did I prefer back then? In case I already knew them, right?
I actually didn't do that because I feel like if a song is really one of my favorites, that means it stays with me, meaning it still is one of the favorites.
But then you.
But at the same time, that's why I did exclude the recent acquisitions because
exactly that's the risk that you run.
So it's basically in a way my favorites now, taking into account that they have all been favorites before too, but not necessarily specifically top 10 favorites back then.
I call it the new car smell effect, right? It's like the new shiny toy. You've just found it out. It's great. It's awesome. You love it.
Is there a thing about the smell of a new car?
Yeah, new car smells nice, man.
I only know that new books smell nice, but
new books smell like
fresh books.
They smell like garbage, man. They smell awful. I don't like the smell of books, new or old. They're awful. Like new cars smell kind of good, kind of real good. But anyway, let's get to my number 8, man. This is a song that I believe you predict. It's my number 8 because you just did your 8. Is it not?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. So I believe this is a song that you predicted. From my spell there. It's Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan.
Yes, I did.
I knew you would. Also, one of the songs that I originally had intended or believed to be pretty damn near or in the top 5. Because, well, it's 99 in Legend, obviously. It's arguably the best song of all time. So, like, if we're going to do the objective list sometime, this is going to be a top 3 song for... Pretty sure.
I feel like we're the wrong people to do the objective list.
I know, but if we
and also it has been done before.
Oh yeah, it's been done by everybody, which means that we could do it as well if we wanted to. But there's always opinion going into it, especially if there's one or like a small amount of people doing it. If there's like voting, maybe less so. But yeah, this song is...
Well, you can take into account sales figures as well.
Yeah.
So that does...
But then again, older songs might be at a disadvantage if it doesn't just so happen to be the Beatles.
Yeah, the Beatles, like
Crazy.
charts, sales,
all
they
them.
topped all of them.
All the records. But yeah, I like
Records
Rolling
as in,
yeah. Yes, true.
As in both meanings.
In both, yeah. Like a Rolling Stone is arguably the greatest song of all time, and it's number 8 on my list. Message and lyrics, I believe it also ranked in the high 90s. Of course, it's let down by its Jim Big Time Party factors, which is why I weighted those down. But yeah, Bob Dylan is the greatest songwriter of all time. He isn't the best singer of all time. So Bob Dylan isn't really good at singing. Like, he doesn't have a good voice for singing. But I still like it. And his writing is, I believe, unmatched. So there's not many better songwriters than Bob Dylan. I would know. Paul Simon is a great one.
Yeah.
But Bob is my dude, man. And Like a Rolling Stone. Actually, there was another Bob Dylan song that was on the further consideration list, which I'm going to drop in the halftime show.
It was Mr. Tambourine Man, wasn't it?
No,
it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Okay. That was also on the early evaluation grid, but that was one of the early ones that I kicked.
I actually also had a Bob Dylan song in consideration that didn't make the top 10 list.
All right, you can drop that in the halftime show as well.
Yeah, sure.
So that's my number 8.
My number 7. Mm-hmm. Wow, we're going places.
Yeah, getting there.
Is actually, I think, it definitely is the most recent discovery on this entire list.
All right.
And it is a good song though, and it's not necessarily a new song, but it's relatively new to me.
Right.
And that actually is "Blaze of Glory" by John Bon Jovi.
Right. That's really high ranking for a Bon Jovi song. So I definitely see that you evaluated your Bon Jovi stuff, because when like a few months ago we were talking about top 5 Bon Jovi, I don't think that came up as much, but I can see it makes sense. There's like still no song on your list that I would categorically disagree with, which is good, which I expected to be more of. So
yeah, I mean, I would have to say the same thing. I don't necessarily strongly disagree with anything on there. Yeah. I'm personally not big on Like a Rolling Stone, but first of all, I knew you were going to pick it, and second of all, it's not necessarily a bad song. It's just, in my opinion, not a great song.
It's not one of your favorite songs.
Yeah, like from a personal standpoint.
But it's arguably the best song, objectively. But that's not what we're here for today. So, Blaze of Glory, I can definitely see that there is no real weakness to it. Looking from my grid, so even message and lyrics is somewhat okay. It's kind of the similar path that most Bon Jovi songs follow.
Yeah,
which is like, I'm a renegade. Like, I go against society and I'm a rebel.
It really is either that or about love. I feel like it's always one of those two.
And sometimes you can mix them up as well.
Yeah.
But that's usually what it is about. Like, most of the songs have those titles and basically the lyrics. But that's who he is, man. He's a cowboy. On a steel horse he rides,
That one did not make the list. That didn't even make the consideration list, despite
I had to make the reference.
Being
good song.
One of those most underrated Bon Jovi songs, I would say.
Oh yeah, it's I've grown to like it a lot more lately.
We're talking about Wanted Dead or Alive, by the way.
Yes, but by saying lately, I mean like the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
Really good song. So it's my number 7. Is it my number 7? I think it's my number 7.
Right? Yeah, it's your number 7.
So let me look at this. All right. Okay, so here is gonna be your first veto, if I should say, your first disagreement. Can you guess?
Probably on the prediction as well. Is it a Runrig song?
It is a Runrig song.
Is it Loch Lomond?
Yes, it is. So I know you would not put that on your top 10. I know it's not going to be on there.
As a matter of fact, there's no Runrig songs on there.
Can we agree?
But I have grown to like them more lately.
Yes, that's progress. That's okay. So can we agree that this is objectively likely the best Runrig song?
I know it's probably the most recognizable and the most well-known.
So I want to read up the stats for this one, the evaluation of it, because I found this one to be rather interesting.
I still feel like there's better Runrig songs there.
Well, in your opinion, right?
That's the problem. It's tough to say objectively, especially for saying objective for Runrig songs. Let's see, Runrig. How many Runrig songs do I have? It's 11.
That's actually pretty good.
Second one, Glory Road, Dance Called America, Every River Going Home, Harvest Moon, Hearthammer, which is still my favorite. Prayer of the Summer, Protect and Survive, which is pretty good. Tear Down These Walls, The Greatest Flame.
Tear Down These Walls, by the way, a really good song. So, here's how I evaluate it, right? Casual, 84. Small Time Party, 87. Big Time Party, 94. I still want to go to a Runrick concert. Like, high and low key. Both. Like, simultaneously. Jim, 70. Of course, not quite there. Legend, 87. Because arguably most legendary Runrick song. Most recognizable, too. Emotional, 93. Catchy, 90. So, I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah,
it's a 90.
I do definitely disagree, but I can see why you put it on there.
So, and Message Lyrics, 94.
It is very catchy.
It's catchy. It's catchy. If you get into the groove, it's catchy. Message Lyrics, 94. I still love the implication of Scottish history.
It's also probably the Runrick song that I'm interestingly enough for some reason most likely to sing along to, despite not really liking it that much.
Yeah, it's that type of song, right? It's the topping of a great concert type of song.
I also remember when you first discovered Runrick, because you were like, oh yeah, hey, listen to this, and I was like, oh yeah, it's Loch Lomond, isn't it? And you were like, yeah. Yeah. Because you were surprised.
Yeah, it's like, that must have been like 2.5 years ago. 2.5 years?
Yeah, it's been a while, man.
Yeah. It's Runrick, man.
I'm always surprised
how
long some stuff has been ago.
How I got to so many songs, like so many songs. I can specifically point to how that happened. In mid to late 2016, I was going to a lot of football camps because I was like for an all-star team and all that. And there was a lot of driving involved. And there was that's when we just had the new MP3 player in our car. And my dad loaded up with songs. And so did I, of course. And like over that period of like a few months of every other weekend going to camps, like 200-mile drives to camps back and forth 2 times a week. That's when I discovered like probably over 100 songs.
All right.
There's a lot, like the whole Blue Oyster Cult thing was in that category. I Don't Like Mondays was in that category. Like so many songs.
That's one of the older ones. So that's one that I knew before because it played on the radio back in the day.
Yeah, but I don't listen to the radio, right? So
I don't do that too much anymore.
So my only 2 sources of music were essentially my father and the interwebs. YouTube, just stumbling across stuff. Right?
So for me, it's interesting because most of how I learned about a lot of those songs is that the radio basically used to be always on all day long. And so as a child, I would listen to a lot of the radio naturally, and a lot of those songs kind of stuck with me.
Yeah.
But I didn't know any of the titles. I didn't know barely any of the artists. And so I would then go to YouTube and I would listen to music there. And in the suggested, I would also be like, wait, that sounds vaguely familiar. And then I would click it and it's like, oh yeah, this is actually one of the good ones. And that's how I rediscovered a lot of songs.
Exactly.
I was going to say comparatively recently, but god damn it, you said it was 2 years ago since...
Yeah, it was late 2016.
So it would actually be like the last 3 or 4 years when I started rediscovering songs like en masse on YouTube.
I'm confident in saying that 90% of my entire playlist contents are more or less directly caused by situations of driving in the car with my dad.
Okay.
Starting from like the age of 4 or 5 when he'd burn like CDs for me, and I was like, yeah. And I'll hear one song play like from his playlist, and I'll look it up from the lyrics. I'll find it, and I'll find 10 more from that.
Yeah, it's suggested. Yeah.
I'm in the car. I'm hearing Sally McLennan by the Pogues. Like,
oh, God.
2 weeks later, I got 50 Pogue songs on my phone.
Oh, God.
I'm hearing Particle Man by They Might Be Giants, and I'm discovering new songs, right?
Why do you have to go into those territories, man?
Because that's ones that I remember most vividly, of course. Same happened for the Blue Oyster Cult, though. Soul Survivor played, I got 5 more.
Not even the best song by them.
Debatable. But
I'm still gonna say it's The Reaper.
Don't fear the Reaper.
Well, it's impressed he's still not here, so it
could be either. Could be either. So yeah, that's a lot of that. Like most of the stuff is gonna be traced back.
Also, I was shocked that at the very least, according to how I have stuff saved on my computer, it's actually not the Mighty Quinn, but it's just Mighty Quinn. But that's a whole different story.
Okay. For Runrick, actually, the origin song was Dance Called America. Mm-hmm. It was the first one I consciously noticed in the car.
Well, my mother stumbled upon Runrick at some point, and she just bought a CD and that was running. So that had Loch Lomond on it. I'm not sure what else, though.
So I hope my dad is part of this list. But it's basically what I'm saying. Whose turn is it?
It's mine for number 6, I believe.
We're getting to number 6. All right. Let me hear
Which
it.
I guess after that we should do our announcements. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is one of those that I used to listen to back in the day when it was on the radio still, and that I then rediscovered actually through you showing me it. Mm-hmm. And that is...
Rediscovered it.
Yes, did I not say that?
You said... Yeah, I think you said discover it.
After explaining that I knew it before, yeah, sure. Brain fart.
All right.
It's California by Phantom Planet.
Wow. That's that high. I knew you were high on that song, and I like it too. Like, don't get me wrong. I think...
I do have to say that for a lot of those songs, ranking them against each other was really tough.
See, I knew that song since like over 5 or 6 years ago, but there was like a period of 4 years in between where I didn't listen to it. And then one time I came out, you know what, I should add that song to my playlist again. And then I added it to Music Share. And basically what I did is assume that was less than a year ago. And so I didn't consider it for the list.
Again, for me, the cutoff wasn't quite a year.
It probably would not have made the list either way, but it you know what, there might have been a spot in the top 50 for it. It's a really good song.
Yeah.
It used to be the title song for The OC, which is a TV show. The OC California. And that's how I actually stumbled across that song first time. Back in the day, watching MTV, music, television, when there was still music on there. Like a while ago. And then it was like, oh yeah, that was a trailer for, hey, the OC California. And they got the song playing. It's like, that's a good song. I'm gonna go listen to that. I did for a while. And then, like, for some reason, at some point later, it popped into my mind again. That song used to be really good. Let's go get it again. And I can look it up later, but I believe it was less than a year ago. Don't disagree with it at all. That's number 6?
That's number 6,
That's number 6. Okay, let's go for my number 6. I'm switching between documents constantly here. My number 6, one that I'm pretty sure you haven't predicted, is Gangster's Paradise by Cooley.
Whoa! That wasn't even in my consideration list.
I know.
I like that song, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But that rhymed. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was about the same level of surprise as you were. And you want to hear something else? I'm gonna look at it to verify it, but I believe that after the evaluation grid and the weighing of the songs, that song was number 2 on my list.
Okay!
It used to be number 2 on my list.
So,
added on the 9th of June 2016.
Small Time Party.
Big Time Party.
Yeah.
I can name you the stats, but it's alright, let me actually go look at the grid.
I assume it isn't particularly legendary.
It is it not legendary? It's quite a legendary song. Let me go and find it real quick. So it's 86, Casual.
Okay.
92, Small Time Party. Big Time Party is 90. Jim is 92. Legendary is 91. Emotional is 78, which is its weakest point. Catchy is 90, and Message Lyrics is 89. So this is one of the most solid ratings. Like, solid overall.
I feel like you rated that too high in some categories, but I'm not gonna say it's a bad song, because it is not.
It's not a bad song. That's one of the old school songs, in more ways than one. And one of the reasons why it dropped from 2 down a little bit is because, first of all, it's essentially a cover. I don't know if you know this, but this actually is not a ripoff, but a cover of the song Pastime Paradise by Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
Which is basically almost the same song. It sounds eerily... It's so similar.
Okay.
Which I only discovered after doing more research. I was looking at like a Lyrics Genius side where like they got every line explained with the backgrounds and all that. I was like, this is actually basically leaning on Pastime Paradise by Stevie Wonder. So credit to Stevie, by the way. Good listen to that later. So maybe you'll find it interesting. But yeah, Gangsta's Paradise, man. It's like the more you think about it, it's a top 10 song. Great lyrics. There's no weak point about it. And it's a bit different, I will admit. It's a bit different than the other stuff. It's not like the classic rock type of stuff that we typically listen to.
Yeah.
It's basically a rap song.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
It's the best one out there, by far.
Yeah, that I would agree with.
It's a song that I probably know for over 10 years. Like, known and have heard before.
That's one of those that also used to play on the radio, but not that much.
There is memories there. I can't pinpoint them exactly, but there is memories that go back way back in the day.
That was recently playing on the radio, and I was starting to sing along. My mother was like, "What the fuck type of song are you singing along to?
Are you rapping out here?" It's like, come on, it's a good song. I love it so much. Gangsta's Paradise, number 6. So that's a banger to go into the halftime show, man. Jesus.
Oh boy, so
this has been a lot of work, but hey, welcome to the halftime show.
We are announcing something very important.
Let's do it. Okay, so what are we doing? Or specifically, what are we doing? Tell us what we're doing.
So, we are giving away a Steam key for a game.
Yeah, giving stuff away.
The game is The Silent Age.
Great game.
Which, isn't a usual AAA game or anything.
Low-key awesome game.
It is a very interesting game for sure, and it has won one indie award, I want to say like 2016, 2013, something like that. Anyways.
Right. Best game narrative, I think.
Yeah, and we are also going to play that game, of course.
On the channel.
Of course, if you want to play it yourself and don't want to get spoiled, watch it.
The idea is basically that we've been doing this for about a year.
Yeah.
The YouTube thing, and it's been kind of cool.
Yeah, it's definitely been fun.
It's been hella fun, and we have got some good support, and there's some people that have been really cool.
Definitely.
And we like what we've done so far. So we decided we're gonna give some stuff to the community.
Yeah.
We're gonna start with this one giveaway of the game. It's gonna run until July 31st.
Exactly.
And the way that it's gonna work is that in every video up until then, there's gonna be
starting, I believe, on Wednesday.
Yeah, there is a question. There's gonna be a question in the beginning of the video.
Yeah. That
which, if answered correctly, will get you an entry for the giveaway. Yeah. So if sometimes there's several answers, sometimes it might be an opinion question, sometimes it's a factual question with one correct answer. First original comment will always get 2 entries. Every repeat will get 1.
Yeah.
So even if you're not the first guy, you can still get an entry by naming the correct answer.
But that does not mean you should always copy the top comment, because they might be wrong.
They might be wrong.
And we are also not going to tell you who's correct.
We're not going to respond to a comment by saying correct or incorrect.
Yeah.
So that's not what we're going to do. But there's your chance.
Of course, if it's an opinion question, you can't be incorrect.
But. So if it's before July 31st, go to every video right now and answer all the questions if you can answer them. So they should all be possible to answer. At least most of them should be. If you know a little bit about our channel, just to give some stuff away. So I hope y'all are going to enjoy it and have some fun with that. And are we going to play the game before the giveaway or after?
I think so.
Probably before, right?
Yeah,
like a teaser.
Yeah,
yeah, it might be a good idea.
Play before again if you want to wait to potentially win the game and play it first.
Okay,
watch the Let's Play later.
Let's then not ask questions on that specific game if we decide to play it before.
Okay.
So that people who don't want to get spoiled, they don't need to be watching that video.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Improve the chances. So, the more you answer, and the more answers you get first person and correctly, the higher your chances of winning the giveaway.
I mean, we're probably not going to play more than once a week anyways, and I'm not exactly sure when we're going to start. So.
Yeah. And we might do more giveaways after that. I mean, it's highly likely that we will. If people appreciate it. Yeah. If people like it, we might keep doing it.
Because if it's just one person answering the questions, we're probably not going to do that
stupid.
again.
But if people appreciate it, it's well received, then we might continue doing it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's cool to give some stuff back to the community, quote unquote.
Which would be even better if YouTube would monetize our videos again.
But they don't, because they're bums. But anyway, that's the big announcement that we were gonna do. So I hope
also get us to 1,000 subs quick, because we do have a watch time to get
monetized.
monetized.
And if we get monetized, we're gonna we can put all that back into giveaways too.
Yeah, exactly. Because if we are making money from this, then that allows us to
reinvest.
Use that money to actually. Because right now we're paying giveaways out of our pockets.
Yeah, we're just paying it by ourselves. But I think it's okay if we're keeping it like it's like that game is like a value of like $15 or 10.
I'm not entirely sure. I think it's 10.
10 or $15. That's okay. We're willing to do that for y'all. So yeah, but let's not beg for monetization. We're not quite at the point where we need a Patreon account. That's the big announcement. So I just want to get the facts of the week out the way, and then we can get into some honorable mentions.
Yeah.
What is your fact of the week?
My fact.
Does it relate to the song lists?
No.
That's crazy.
Well, I mean, I was thinking for a second that if I was gonna make like one aspect of the list or something like that as the fact, but the problem is.
Fact of the week. My number one song is.
No, but like maybe like. An interesting bit about the process of that, but
we're talking about that anyway.
Exactly. The problem is it's gonna come up before the fact anyways, and it's gonna be a problem. So, my fact of the week, vaguely interesting to the viewers, definitely interesting to you, maybe, I don't know, is that, you know how we've been playing Dungeons & Dragons a bit, like twice or 3 times on that?
Yeah.
And our friend Joe, who is DMing that, is being a little bit of a bitch about people joining and leaving the game.
Is he?
Yeah, he said like he doesn't want to change up the group a lot during the thing, and because of us doing the barbecues with different people every time, that doesn't really work that well, does it?
Yeah, right.
Especially because one of our friends who is there is like in Israel right now.
Yeah. Come on.
For like a year.
Come on, Darren. Why are you going all the way to Israel leaving us alone? Come on, man.
So,
you want to do the black guys in Israel? Actually, nothing. But, have fun, Darren.
He's probably not watching this.
Probably not. What were you saying?
Do they even have internet over there?
I think they do.
It's a joke. It's a joke. Okay?
Everything's a joke.
Pretty much. Except for the top 10 list. Those are serious.
Oh, yeah.
That's serious business. Okay.
Okay.
And because of that, I am actually currently preparing a separate campaign that if Joe decides to not want to continue this till Darren returns in a year, that we can play. So...
Is it more flexible for people to get in and out there?
You could do that with any campaign if the DM is flexible to that. Yes.
So you're going to be the DM?
Yes.
For that one? Okay.
I would DM that. It's called Out of the Abyss.
Alright.
It's a lot of underground stuff, demons.
Demons are
dark
great.
elves.
Huge fan. Demons are great.
So I'm preparing that, and, which you will also be able to know, is that I'm actually already creating characters to hand out to people.
Right.
So that we don't have to sit there for 2 hours whenever there's a new player join.
That's a smart idea. So here's my fact of the week, which is maybe a bit less random, but also pretty random. The only letter in the alphabet that does not appear in the name of any U.S. state is... JJ?
The letter doesn't appear in any U.S. state.
There's only one letter that doesn't appear. And which one is it?
J?
It's Q.
Q. Wait.
New Jersey.
Oh, Jersey, right, yeah.
But the letter Q.
Q is one of those letters that doesn't appear pretty much anywhere.
There's X in Texas.
Yeah.
Z in Arizona, Y in Wyoming. But there's no Q. No Q. Unrelated fact of the week.
Am I an idiot, or is Jersey at least the only one that has a J in it?
It might be the only one. That's the only one that I can come up with on the spot. So, yeah, it seems like it. But,
if you're put on the spot going through all 50 of them,
it's tough. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do some honorable mentions. Do you want to do some from the top of your head while I look at my list?
Well, I mean, we already mentioned Last Man Standing, and in general, Hammerfall as a band, whom I've grown to appreciate a lot lately. Again, because it's lately, most of those songs aren't qualified. We mentioned Bob Dylan.
Yes, we did.
The times they are a-changing.
Times they are a-changing.
I actually...
Number 31 on my list. Honorable mention 2 for me.
Okay,
that was the second song.
When I just went through and made the first list, I did order them a bit. And for some reason, it ended up on number 2. Okay. Which seems a bit high.
Wow. That's really high.
When I actually listened to it again and to all the other songs, it ended up not making the top 10 at all.
Message and lyrics is up there.
Yeah.
It's in the high 90s.
It didn't quite make the list, but it's a pretty good song. And in my opinion, it's the best Bob Dylan song. Let's put that out there.
Rolling Stone? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see it. It's apparently number 2 on my list, so yeah.
That's definitely one, and I think that's pretty much it for honorable mentions. I know there's like
more, yeah.
There's like 30 songs that dropped off the list,
Yeah.
but those were the ones that kind of stand out.
I'm just gonna mention separately the DQ'd songs. So the first song that definitely had a shot at making a high top 30, 20 appearance is Surrender by Cheap Trick.
Okay.
DQ'd by not being there for a year.
Okay.
Because specifically, I added that after you mentioned as a song of the week.
Yeah.
Which tells me that it had to be less than a year. I looked it up. It was in November of 2017.
So you do like that song a lot, don't you?
I do like that song a lot. Oh, yeah, I do like that song a lot. It's a hype song, man. That's like the gym rating would have been high 90s.
Okay.
High 90s. Big Time Party, too. Great stuff. The other two actually somehow managed to squeeze themselves through the evaluation grid. I mentioned City of New Orleans.
Yes, you did.
I think. So that only later I decided that it wasn't going to be on the list. Because the Me First version was less than a year.
You said already, yeah.
And the other one is Oh What a Circus by
You
Edward
also
Weber.
said that too.
I said that too, right. So those actually were both after the evaluation grid and the weighting were still on the top 25.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm going to read out just number 38. 38 to 11. I'm going to just read out.
Okay.
That, wait, am I?
It's quite a few.
Wait, am I going to read them out? Because some of them, no, I'm not going to read them all out because some of them actually ended up making the list. But I'm going to mention some honorable mentions that were dropped out. I'm going to mention 38 to 26.
Okay.
The ones that were not considered in the final cut.
Yeah.
Those, not specifically in order, just ordered by the points from the weighted evaluation grid.
Yes.
So I didn't put any more thought into this. 38, the band played Waltzing Matilda by the Pogues. Highway to the Danger Zone, Kenny Loggins.
Yes.
House of the Rising Sun, The Animals.
Yes.
C'est la Vie by Slade.
Yes.
Beat It, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Soul Survivor.
Yes.
Wrote a Song for Everyone, CCR. The Times They Are a Change, Bob Dylan. Super Trooper by ABBA.
Yeah.
Killer Queen.
Yeah.
Country Roads, John Denver.
Yeah.
Modern Times, Latin Quarter.
Yeah.
America, Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah.
Another one that I can mention is November Rain by Guns N' Roses, which came in at 25.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to mention any more. I'm going to do the rest of the honorable mentions after we finish the list.
Okay.
So,
my reactions just were to how much I agree with them being in there or not.
Yeah.
I assume that was obvious.
Yeah, I got it. So you don't really agree with Beat It. I believe Beat It to be higher. I thought Beat It would be up there. Like, top 10 possible. I actually thought it would be.
It still isn't even my favorite Michael Jackson song.
Turns out it's just not. Like, from the evaluation grid, it's just tough. So, okay. Let's get back into it, man.
Number 5. It's the top 5 now, people.
Yeah, it's serious. It's serious now. We doing business. We conducting millions of dollar business out here.
America.
By
Razorlight.
Wow.
I think you knew that was my favorite song called America.
Yeah, I think so. You probably mentioned that before. Even though I know you liked America by Deuce.
Yeah. I like that. In a similar way to Gangsta's Paradise.
Yep.
Where it's not necessarily my favorite genre or anything, but it's a pretty cool song.
But Gangsta's Paradise is just up there with the legends.
Yeah. Again, of course, America by Deuce didn't make the list.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But can't disagree with the song. Can't really disagree with it. To me, was not considered for top 25 or anything, but I still don't vehemently disagree with it.
It's one of those songs that is pretty catchy and also has the sing-along factor, which I guess usually goes alongside each other. And it's also one of those songs that I've known for a long time.
Bonus points for music video. I was actually
was it America or was it White Wire?
Wait. No, it was Wire to Wire.
It was Wire to Wire, right?
I was actually considering the music video as a third string tiebreaker. But since the AC/DC point already didn't break any ties, and the date added pretty much did everything for me, well, not as a strict tiebreaker, but as an influence point, and I got a moment. That was already only going to be in my very last resort. The music video. If there's literally no difference for me to be spotted in the music, it was going to be the music video. But luckily, I think I didn't have to deploy that at all.
Yeah.
Razorlight America. Yeah. That's Totally fine. So, number 5.
Also, let me quickly say, I could have probably put Wire to Wire as well. They are very similar in how much I like them, but I didn't want I didn't want to flood the top 10 list with putting multiple Razorlight songs.
That makes sense. So, I'm going old school days. I'm not sure this is one that you might have predicted. I'm going as old school days as it gets.
It's Proud Mary.
It's Proud Mary. And when I'm saying old school days, by the way, I'm talking like 2015, summer 2015.
Sitting in front of
the high school gym, listening to music after gym class when we could have gone home.
Like at the very beginning, it was exclusively Proud Mary.
Yeah, along with my dude Joe and JJ right here.
Yeah,
that was the days, man. And it was Proud Mary, and then later it came to be like
American Pie.
American Pie came back, and actually Black Betty too.
Oh, Black Betty, right? Yeah.
And Lady in Black was one of the ones that was kind of early on.
I really wouldn't have thought we had.
Oh, it was. It was way back in the high school days as well. But that's typically what I mean when I say the old school days. But Proud Mary is the OG song. It's the OG song. It's also the second song voiced by John Fogerty, my favorite singer of all time.
Yeah, I know
Sensibly. So, Proud Mary, great stuff. Like the stuff that legends are made of. Proud Mary, number 5.
Number 4, and talking about repeat singers named John.
Arguably my favorite country song of all time.
I think you know where this is going.
That's going to
Actually, there's 2 ways this could be going with repeat singers called John.
Beatles as well with having Hey Jude, but I'm thinking it's going into the direction of Johnny Bunny McJovington.
That's exactly his real name as well. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's Have a Nice Day.
Have a Nice Day by Bon Jovi. I expected that to be there.
I repeatedly called my number 1 favorite Bon Jovi song. Not to spoil anything, but turns out it's not.
I would have also expected that. But, yeah.
So, yes, that's not the last appearance of Bon Jovi. It's not the first appearance of Bon Jovi. There's at least 3 appearances of Bon Jovi. That's first of all, tough. Have you noticed that there hasn't been Bon Jovi on my list yet? Yeah.
Crazy, right? Have a Nice Day, I know
I like Bon Jovi probably more than I should, but yeah.
And I believe, I'm fairly certain it wasn't in the top 25. Look at this. It absolutely was.
This is also the factor that you mentioned before of like very consistently liking those songs.
Yeah.
Like I've liked Bon Jovi basically. Okay, I'm not gonna say always right now because that would be way too cheesy. But I've liked Bon Jovi for a long time. I think since I first listened to a Bon Jovi song, which probably was I'm Living on a Prayer, It's My Life. Yeah. I've liked Bon Jovi. I
would have argued that also I've loved these types of songs forever. However, that's kind of deceptive. Date added for Have a Nice Day, April 12th, 2017.
I know for a fact that
14 months.
I've known Bon Jovi almost my entire life.
I've known Bon Jovi almost my entire life, but that specific song?
That specific song is probably, admittedly, one of the newer ones.
Yeah, it got pushed.
First of all, it is one of the newer ones. I think it's like, 08 or something?
Yeah, it's a fairly new song.
And, most of the Bon Jovi songs that you would know classically would be like the 80s, 90s stuff.
Yeah, exactly. When he had the crazy hair back in the day.
Well, that sounds like crazy.
It was crazy. Well, it was not crazy for 80s rock stars. But
exactly.
It was crazy for 80s humans, or humans for that matter. Like, people in general.
Yeah.
So, that's a number 4
Men
song.
in general.
Yeah, exactly. That's number 4.
Yeah, that's number 4.
That's really... I would have... I could have probably said confidently that would be a top 3 for you as well. But
So would I before actually considering very specific things.
Stuff gets knocked back by stiff competition. I've been there, man. Okay, so...
Also, that reminds me of one more honorable mention I'm quickly gonna mention right now. The same album, actually. Unbreakable.
Yeah.
I would have also strongly believed that would be in there, but no, it wasn't.
Didn't make my top 25. So, remember how I was going old school?
Yes.
I'm going to continue doing that. Number 4 song of all time. Favorite song of all time.
Is it American Pie?
It's American Pie by Don McLean.
I don't know.
Something that you might have also predicted on that note, but I'm not going to
miss it. I only did the predictions on like a whim. I didn't think too much about it because I was still working on my own list.
Okay, yeah.
But I was like, okay, I could see like Problem being in there. I could see the times there.
Loch Lomond,
Loch Lomond.
Yeah.
I saw some of those coming, but that's actually the one I missed on that list.
American Pie you missed. Okay, so this one I mentioned that already, did a flat out 99 in message and lyrics, because I could still write a 100-page essay about that song, just lyric wise. The references in that, like, it's fantastic. The references in that song is amazing.
It's a great song.
It's such a great song.
It didn't make my top 10 list, but yeah, it's a great song.
It references everything.
It references like a Rolling Stone.
Yeah. It mentions moss grows fat on a Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
Which references the saying that moss doesn't grow on a Rolling Stone.
But don't they
I don't think the song specifically.
I thought they did.
I don't think so. It's the saying that moss doesn't grow on a Rolling Stone.
I thought they actually said something about like Rolling Stone or something like that. But anyways,
it mentions the Beatles. It mentions
clearly.
It mentions Candlestick Park. It mentions every single thing. It mentions Kennedy. It mentions the moon landing. Everything that ever happened. This, like, if there's a song as close as possibly resembling Forrest Gump, what Forrest Gump is as a movie, this song, American Pie, is as a song.
I guess I should really watch that movie.
Essentially. Oh yeah, you should watch that movie. Oh yeah, you should watch that movie. Everything's mentioned.
I feel like that's one of those movies that everyone knows and I just haven't seen it for some reason.
Yeah,
so yeah.
Probably true. So that one, it's also one of the old school ones. Of course, they'd added, that steps it up. Nothing bad about it. Of course, the gym rating isn't quite there. The big time party rating is maybe not quite there. But it definitely makes up for it in the message and lyrics, man. Crazy good. American Pie.
Okay, here comes the song that most surprised me. Yeah.
Top 3. Ring the bells. Top 3.
Here comes the song that most surprised me on being... It first of all kind of surprised me of being in the top 10 list in general, and then being that high.
Wow.
But it's a really good song.
I would have assumed so.
Yeah, I mean, naturally. Yeah. It's 74-75 by the Connors.
Wow. It's you know what? That's a really good song. I've been noticing that song. I was like, okay. I was like, when I was going through myself, I'm still not opposed to it.
I was like, okay, this is a pretty good song. I'm gonna put it in the consideration thing. I don't think it's gonna make the top 10, but I'll put it there. And it made the top 10. It made the top 3. It's number 3.
It's one of the sleeper songs in terms of catchiness as well.
Yeah.
I think. Really good.
I mean, talking about, you said the same thing about Lady in Black, and there is actually similarities there.
There's similarities. Oh, yeah, there is. Yeah. Wow. The Connells showing up.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wasn't in my top 25, but, like, I value the song to the point where I do not disagree with, and it's totally justifiable to have it at 3.
Yeah.
Which is fairly insane, but that's the beauty of it, so... Let's get into the top 3. Okay, you're gonna like this one. You're gonna like this sexy pick right here. Number 3. Favorite song of all time.
I think it's gonna be in my predictions as well. I think it's gonna be the first thing I wrote down in my predictions anyways.
It's a song that we've been joking about probably more than any other song.
Oh, that one! That one was actually not in my predictions. It wasn't my top 10 consideration, but it didn't make it.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Dude.
Number 3.
I really thought it was going to make the top 10 for me too, in part by being pushed up by being a reference, and then just by being a good song.
That song, it's a hell of a song.
That could have also been one of the honorable mentions, to be honest.
Yeah, that's also the ones that could probably max out the catchiness category. It's up there. Big Time Party. That's a closeout song for any concert. It's also a wake-up song for any concert because of breakfast time. It's a meme on our channel. Like, this song is everything it needs to be. There's nothing that this song isn't that it would have to be.
I honestly couldn't squeeze it on that top 10 list.
Really?
That one and also The Riddle by Nick Kershaw. Yeah. I really wanted it to be on there, and it's really catchy, but it just didn't make it.
To me, The Riddle isn't quite on that tier that Breakfast at Tiffany's is, but it's a good song.
But also, it's one of those age-old songs for me, where I've known it basically my entire life, like The Riddle. Breakfast at Tiffany's, a bit less, but also...
It's kind of been like, it's one of those songs that just kept going up there. Like, the more I thought about it, the more I evaluated stuff, it just kept rising and rising, and I was like, where is this going? Is it gonna, like, where's it gonna end up? And it actually did end up in the top 3. Insane, but I'm totally behind the decision. Breakfast at Tiffany's, man. Great song.
I feel like we're getting to the territory where you're gonna disagree with me more.
Probably. Top 2, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Christ. Oh, Nelly.
I would argue this is one of the catchiest songs I know.
This is the Mister.
No, it's not.
That's the most catchy song I know. Even though Breakfast at Tiffany's might be number 2 on there.
And it's also the song that, I said it before, like, that I'm most likely to turn up the radio for, that I'm most likely to sing along to. And I just love that song. It's Ruby by the Kaiser Chiefs.
Alright. Is it really that high, though?
See, I knew
quality song. Great song. Quality song, of course. All time?
For a second there, I thought it was going to end up being number 1, but
wow.
No.
I don't think... Okay, yeah, you're right. I don't think it's a tier 1 song, even. And tier 1 probably being like my top 25 to top 50, I would consider... Let's say top 30. I would consider the tier 1 songs if I put work into all of them. I think this is a tier 2 song. In that completely subjective scale. But, yeah. I don't think it's a top 10 material, but it's the first song that I really disagree with it being on that list for you.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna really complain unless number 1 is gonna be like some bull jive, but we'll see when we get there. I don't think it's gonna be. Because, well, I know it's going to be Bon Jovi, of course.
Yes, you do know that.
But, so I was like, if number 1 ends up being like a Genesis song, I might have been low-key mad, but...
There was only one Genesis song in the entire consideration.
Was it Jesus?
No, actually it was Invisible Touch, but...
Really?
Okay. Like, it was also one of the first out of the 42. I think it was like the 5th or 6th song that I kicked.
After going through this process, is Genesis still a top 3 band to you?
No, not top 3.
There you go. It was number 2 last time, by the way. For him.
Probably still top 10.
Alright.
Especially by saying that we include Phil Collins and maybe even what's his face? Why am I forgetting the name right now?
Peter Gabriel.
Peter Gabriel, thank you.
P.T. Gabriel. P.D. Gabriel.
Exactly.
Okay.
Does anyone call you P.D. Griffin?
No, they don't, because I'm an adult.
Which was kind of my point.
Yeah. I don't know what I was getting at. Watch Family Guy do it. Number 2 song. I'm going old school again. Not specifically our old school days, but the old school days, and one of the songs that just has meaning to me for a lot of reasons. There's a lot of connections there. San Francisco by Scott McKenzie.
Okay. Yeah.
It's arguably a top 10 song of all time, like best songs. It's probably there. Scott McKenzie was born on January 10th, so was I. San Francisco is my city. The song is called San Francisco.
I noticed, yeah.
Scott is a great dude. So am I. Lies.
I was about to say I disagree.
But, you know, that song is mean. That's a song that probably has the most meaning to me personally of all songs ever out there ever.
Okay.
San Francisco, man.
It's not a bad song, but it's one of those where I would say it's not a great song either.
It's legendary. To me personally. This is where, this is favorites. It's probably top 10 of all time.
Is it just me, or do we, the further up the list we go, the more we start disagreeing with each other?
Probably because the more our further past maybe comes into play. I think. I don't know, though. This is how it was for me. So San Francisco has been... That's the song. Like, San Francisco has always been this, like, great stuff, right?
I don't hate it. So
Sports, man. The Bay Area. I love everything about the city. And the songs, just like the hippie times, man. I love history.
I noticed, yeah.
I love the message of the song. There is nothing bad about this song. It's the perfect song. So
if that's the perfect song, then ooh boy, what's number 1?
Yeah. But I can tell you exactly why this is number 1. Jim and Big Time Party categories in the evaluation grid.
Okay.
Is the only reason that San Francisco is not my number one song. That's why. Number one song. You know what we should do? Say them simultaneously.
It's not the same song.
Is it not?
No, it's not.
Are you
I know what your number one song is. It was my predictions as well.
Really?
It's also the one song of something else, I assume.
What? It's what?
Is it not?
You mean number one greatest of all time?
No, I mean, it's...
By that band?
Well, it's not the same song that we're...
Okay, then tell me what's your number one song, man.
Should I tell you what's your number one song?
You can
first?
do that.
It's We Were Born to Fall by Bon Jovi, isn't it? No, it's not.
No, it's not. And that's why we should say our number one songs at the same time.
I thought it was going to be that, which is what I was referencing, that our Music While We're Doing Shit playlist has number one, We Were Born to Fall.
Oh, that way you can... No.
I still have a second guess what yours is, and it's still not the same song.
I'm going to tell you that it's a Bon Jovi song.
I know it's a Bon Jovi song.
The first and only Bon Jovi song on my top 10 list.
Oh, God. Which probably... I think I know what it is, and I can't disagree with it, necessarily, but it's not It's not the same one as mine.
Okay, if you think so. I still think it might be, and that would have been the one song that I predicted to be on both of our top 10s.
About equally old, though, because I think it's also one of the older Bon Jovi songs. Yours it is, mine definitely is. And this one is also one that has been playing on the radio since I was young. It's one of those songs that I vividly remember from back in the day. And it's one of those that I forgot about because they stopped playing on the radio. Okay. I didn't know the names of songs, whatever. And when I stumbled upon it, I had the hugest nostalgia trip.
Really?
And I still love that song.
It's a great song. I think. What's the song?
And it's not your number one song because it's Runaway by Bon Jovi.
It's Runaway.
And your number one song probably is It's My Life by Bon Jovi.
It's Runaway by Bon Jovi.
It's Runaway.
Wow. That's a bomb.
I told you it's not the same one.
That is a bombshell and a half.
And I told you you were going to disagree more with me starting at Ruby and then continuing to number one.
I was so certain that we were going to agree on this song.
So you said It's My Life, didn't you?
Yes. That's my number one song. It's My Life by Bon Jovi. Runaway, really?
Yeah.
I cannot... Okay, if you had used the same method that I had, which is the evaluation grid, I could not get myself to agree with that choice. At all. Because it's not in the same category in terms of legendary status, of being the song of songs. Of everybody and their mother knows that song.
Yeah.
It's like... It's My Life is the rock song. If there's one rock song, it's My Life. If there's one Bon Jovi song, it's My Life. Definitely. Outside of Living on a Prayer, which quality-wise isn't even tier 1 for me.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, Living on a Prayer and It's My Life are the two most well-known Bon Jovi songs. Yeah. Maybe Bed of Roses. And both Bed of Roses and Living on a Prayer are arguably some of the weakest Bon Jovi songs that well, maybe not all time, but like after the like anything that's like before 2008 or something like that, because and after they kind of went downhill. But yeah, It's My Life is probably the most recognizable and still great Bon Jovi song.
Wow.
But no,
I can't really explain how I'm like my train of thought right now is insane.
Your train of thought derailed, didn't it?
My train of thought is a mixture of confusion and betrayal. Almost. Like in a weird way.
I told you it's not the same song.
It totally derailed. Wow. Like from getting in this building like 2 hours ago, I was of the mindset that It's My Life is gonna be on both of our top 10s, and how awesome would it be if it was number one for both of us? It's the song. Okay, right. Like speaking right now in the moment, I can't agree with your choice, but maybe I will get to. But that's really out of the blue. In terms of Bon Jovi song, in terms of songs in general. So yeah, that's crazy. That's insanity.
I actually thought you repeatedly said that We Weren't Born to Follow was your favorite Bon Jovi song.
It's a good song.
So I really thought that was gonna be on there.
It's not as legendary of a song. It doesn't have the same well, it doesn't have the same meaning to music history and to my personal music history, right? We Were Born to Follow, like Have a Nice Day. For the first time, I knew it, have heard of it, and discovered it when we started talking about Bon Jovi. Which is, I can tell you,
I think I've also heard
it's likely that Have a Nice Day
before,
and We Were Born to Follow were both added to my list on the exact same day. So Have a Nice Day was added, I already mentioned that, April 12th, 17. And We Were Not Born to Follow was added on, the 18th of April. So 6 days later to my playlist.
Wait, didn't you say 14th and 18th? That would be 4 days. 12. Okay, no.
12 and...
then my mind's just going nuts.
But that also tells me that before 2017, roughly, basically up until the day of my 18th birthday, correct? Yes. I had never consciously heard or liked either song.
Okay.
And since we're doing all time, all time.
I told you, right? Right? Runaway used to play on the radio.
They used to play on the radio, though?
Yeah.
See, I don't know about that.
It's It's My Life and Runaway I've probably known for about the same time, which is since always. And I just...
With the same level of consciousness and recognition, though.
Yeah, I think so. And I just like Runaway better.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I can't agree with it right now, but
Okay. Take that piece of paper that I gave you.
I'm doing that. So I know Look Low Mod is possibly.
And yes, there's wrestling predictions.
There's a lot of stuff. Yeah. So we got We Were Born to Follow is on there. That wasn't true. Proud Mary, yes. Like a Rolling Stone, absolutely. One Beatles song, no. Hey Jude, probably not. No, Hey Jude is not my favorite Beatles song.
I thought
correct.
It's one of the most influential Beatles songs, and I thought that might be.
Let me go ahead and look at my list.
Completely
untrue. I thought for the first Beatles song.
I would have sworn that you probably had a Beatles song on there, and it was completely untrue which one. I thought Hey Jude is one of the more recognizable ones, and one of the more influential ones. So I thought
there does not appear to be a single Beatles song all over my consideration.
Wow.
Because what song like Hey Jude isn't even a top 5 Beatles song to me.
No. Okay.
If I had to guess, like from the top of my head,
it's the one. It's
Across
the one
the Universe is one. Your Mother Should Know is the other. It's tough.
Like if you look at the list of people when they're talking about like influential songs or best songs, Hey Jude usually is
Beatles
the first Beatles song that comes.
I will state that the Beatles are the best band of all time. They're not my favorite band of all time. I love the Beatles.
Yeah, and again, I think that Hey Jude is usually the one that people point out to first,
because there's not many bands that have like 10 plus tier 2 songs, and that's what the Beatles do, in part because they don't have a tier 1 song, in my opinion. They've made the top 10 band list for me before, specifically just because of their consistent quantity of good stuff. And if your favorite band of all time is the Beatles and you love them to death, great. They're the best band of all time. I'll give it to you. You can love them however much you want. They're not quite on that level for me. Now, I'm gonna just shout out all the honorable mentions that I haven't done yet. So, It Never Rains in Southern California, Barry Manilow. Sweet Home Alabama, Leonard Skinner. Lady in Black, Uriah Heep. Beat Up Guitar, The Hooters. Dance Called America, Runrick. Living in America, James Brown. Smells Like Teen Spirit, Nirvana, was on the brink. Okay, that was I mentioned. Walk of Life, Dire Straits, was number 11 after the evaluation grid. Tear Down These Walls, Runrick. Mysterious Mr. Jones, obviously. We Were Born to Follow wasn't in the discussion. Have a Nice Day, and that's all the ones that I have written down on this piece of paper.
Okay, interestingly enough, for some of the bands, I also had one of their songs, but not the same one.
Mm-hmm.
I had Ruby Red.
Okay.
I
knew that was your favorite Slade song.
I had Johnny B.
Really, Johnny B.
And I think there was one more band that you mentioned where I had a different song.
See, the thing is with Johnny B is also one of those songs in the category of heard it in the car once and then discovered Hooters. So Johnny B was the original Hooters song. But the more Hooters songs that I discovered, the more Johnny B kind of slipped down.
It's probably the most well-known one. It's probably the one
500 Miles probably, but Johnny B's up there.
It's definitely the one I've consciously known for the longest.
Okay.
And I would argue it's the catchiest.
No.
But that's also a bit of personal stuff. Yeah. Talking about honorable mentions, I guess I had "Start Me Up" by the Rolling Stones as well in there. Okay.
I didn't consider the Stones.
Also, talking about the Stones, what kind of surprised me, one of the first songs, if not the first song, I threw in the consideration list. Yeah. Was "Sympathy for the Devil." Okay. It's also the first one I threw out.
All right.
It's like it definitely is one of the first 4 songs that I threw out of the 42 when it.
I would have expected your list, or at least your consideration, to be more Stones heavy.
That was the only 2 Stones songs in there.
Maybe this...
Because I knew I couldn't have 5 Stones songs in the top 10, so
maybe
I
your
picked the top...
Rolling Stones are kind of my Beatles.
Yeah.
In the way that they're good and great and an all-time great. Listen, the Rolling Stones are a top 5 band of all time. I don't like them that much. They're probably not a top 50 band for me. But I can recognize that they are absolutely great. And the same goes for the Beatles to a lesser degree. So I guess that's kind of how that dynamic worked for you with the Stones. There's a lot of good stuff that you like. There's not that absolute top of the crop tier 1 thing, right?
I feel like a lot of the Stones songs could be in the top 20 for me, maybe. Okay. Maybe top 30, but like "Start Me Up," maybe "Painted Black," "Satisfaction," you know.
Yeah, those are not really top tier 1 or tier 2 songs for me. I still haven't expanded upon the tiers as much as I probably should. But wow, okay, that was eventful, man. That was an eventful podcast.
I love how you agreed with numbers 3 through 10 for me, and then number 1, 2, you're like, no.
I'm sorry, no. Those.
But that's also, I saw that coming when I told you for Ruby. It's like this is the point where you start disagreeing with me.
The thing is, I like both of those songs. I really like. I got them in my playlist. I listen to them. I got them in several playlists I listen to on a regular basis. They're both great songs. They're not top 10 songs.
Well, I disagree.
They're really good, but they're just not. I would have expected in general just more. Like, the further it goes to the top, the more I think the legendary factor has to be considered as well. Because you mentioned that it gets so dense, where it's like those songs are all so close together that you need to looking for more indexes or indices. Both plural forms are acceptable in the English language, by the way. I looked that up.
Yes. That reminds me of the fact that the singular of dice is both dice and die, where dice is the more common and generally more expected version, despite me liking die better. But
that's cool. So what was I getting at?
You were
indexes,
saying
finding more indexes. Yeah. So, and the legendary factor is one that pretty much sticks out to me. And
I did this, as I pointed out before, I did this on a less scientific method where I really just this song, I like this one. Do I like it better than the other one?
Which kind of surprises me for you to deploy such little science and like numbers and objective criteria.
But it is such an inherently subjective thing.
Yeah, right. But it's what's the word? What's the word?
I don't know what you're trying to say.
There's a specific word for how this is supposed to work. It's a scientific word. It's using economics. Let me come up with this. It's oh god, just talk, and I'm trying to come up with it.
Well, so one thing that I definitely noticed is I believe you had no duplicate bands or anything. You did have Double John Fogerty by having him in CCR. I didn't have any duplicates besides Bon Jovi, where I had 2 Bon Jovi and 1 John Bon Jovi song. Which I guess is at least in part intentional, where you don't want to put too many for the same artist.
John. Like
also,
all Johns.
Yeah, like if you're a good musician, chances are your name is John.
Yeah, likely.
I mean, we mentioned 3 of them just during this thing, and
it's okay. Well, the word I was looking for is like something construct. If I can remember it, I'll mention it. But the meaning of it is it basically you've got a category of something or something that you want to evaluate, but you can't evaluate the whole of it because there's too many facets to it. So you divide it up into smaller and smaller things that you can eventually then evaluate individually.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So, like for example, the examples that we had in marketing class in college was like, how happy are you with this company? Are you happy with this company? And then you can divide it up into
is the product good? Is the service good? And then the service you can divide up into, are the people friendly? Does it work fast? And are the people friendly? You can divide up into, did they smile at me? Did they offer me help? And you divide it up more and more into smaller categories.
That would have been the one category I wouldn't have split up because I was like, honestly, I don't care.
Then
that
you can
much.
then eventually start, you know what I'm saying, right?
I'd rather have a person be rude to me but helpful than be nice and useless, right?
You know what? If anyone knows the word right now, which I can for the life of me not come up with right now, drop it in the comments.
The problem is you're probably gonna remember that before the first comment comes in.
But do it anyway. So you were smarter than me on that point right now.
I see why that is a useful way of going about things, but I feel like for music I can't do that too much because it is like maybe 3 or 4 factors, and it usually boils down to just personal preference of like, which usually is based on majority, like catchiness and sing-along factor, and then in smaller parts like
meaning.
The like, how long have I known this? How much impact had it had on like maybe like the other songs that I picked out, that kind of stuff.
But regular music history, right? Like if a song has a huge impact on music history, that has to be a plus point, because that way that song shaped music more in the direction that I would like it to be shaped. Therefore, I appreciate that song for that factor.
But that's the type of stuff that, again, I'm not that much into history as you are, so for me that would be the type of thing that would maybe be a tiebreaker. Like, oh hey, look, this song is more important, thereby, if both are about equally good, I'll put that one.
To me it was weighed at, I believe, 15% of the evaluation group, the legend rating.
Yeah, so that...
Which is also what put It's My Life over the top of all Bon Jovi songs, and would put Runaway out of the top 5 of Bon Jovi songs, because the top of the Bon Jovi song chain is that close.
It is the first song from their first album.
Yeah, but it's just not the most impactful song. Well, for a fact, I know that Living on a Prayer and It's My Life are the top 2.
Yeah.
For Bon Jovi. So, It's My Life is the one that I, like, night and day is better than Living on a Prayer for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Absolutely. For sure.
And the other ones just kind of fizzle out. Like Everybody's Day, We Want to Follow. Those are songs that could be on the list, and I could have seen myself put them on the list a while ago. They might have been there, but it turns out that they're just not.
That's I think what this most points toward.
That was the date added.
Is how we approached this.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, shaped how our lists ended up working.
Yeah.
And for you, putting such a huge factor into the actual historical stuff.
Yeah, it was a factor.
Is why you disagree with some of my choices. Yeah.
So at least what you did is you said that you picked Ruby Runaway because you've known those songs forever. And you know that like 3 years ago you loved it, and 6 years ago you loved it, 10 years ago you loved that song. Like from that arguing, it's okay. I disagree with your opinion, but I agree with the method you used.
I'm pretty sure that if I had to make this type of list 10 years ago, first of all, I wouldn't have known any songs to actively look up because I legitimately didn't know any song titles. Right. But those two would have definitely been high up on there. Maybe even in the same spots.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so in that case, you know what, the method is okay. I had originally thought that it might be worse. Like the stuff you put together.
Let me guess. Genesis and the Stones.
I would have thought not even that. Like just like stuff that I'm currently hyped about.
Okay.
Like 3 Hammerfall songs, and then this and that and stuff that like I recently found on the YouTube, and it's it's a catchy song. I like it. But like 3 months ago I never heard of it. That sort of thing, because you tend to value those a lot, and that reflects on the top 10 bands lists that we do, because they fluctuate hugely for you. Like all of a sudden, Genesis are 2. Like from out of nowhere.
It's I feel like, okay, while rating songs is really tough because you do get to a point where it's so dense. I feel like rating bands in some aspects is easier, but in other aspects is also harder, because you somehow, basically you could do the exact same thing as with rating songs, and then you have to take into account what is more important. Having a lot of good songs or having some great songs.
Latent constructs. That's what it was. Continue.
So there's
no longer need to count.
Like a second factor added on top for evaluating bands. And that's why I suggested at one point that it would be interesting to create like a top 100 song list or something.
Oh yeah, but you know how much work that is.
Yeah, I was gonna make all the...
Christ almighty.
I was gonna order all the songs that I had in my last 34 or something like that. And I was like, it's not so worth the work if it's not relevant to the final list.
I didn't even do it.
And...
we can make a tier list.
But if we
just drop songs into tiers roughly and then present our like top 3 tiers of songs.
What I was gonna say though is if we made a top 100 list, we could then with an inverted point scale, based on that, make a top 10 band list. But even that would probably still be inaccurate because for my top 100 there probably wouldn't be that many ABBA songs.
Probably have to do a top 500.
But
for that.
But there is so many ABBA songs that are just good, not great. Like as a matter of fact, there are no great ABBA songs.
Well, Super Trooper is apparently rated higher to me than any individual Beatles song. But I think it might already be a tier 2 song.
I can tell you exactly the one song that was in consideration for the top 10 from ABBA, the only one, and also again one of the first few songs that dropped. I think it was not in the first 4, but in the first 8.
Yeah,
Rock Me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Rock Me.
It's objectively not anywhere near one of the best ABBA songs. But subjectively, it is the best ABBA song for me.
Okay. Like, I had, in the original pre-elimination, I had 3 of them. I had Waterloo, I had Super Trooper, and Fernando.
That, once again, tells me, again, how you, like, Waterloo, Fernando, those are the historical implications, right?
Waterloo is amazing.
So...
well, yeah, they're always in there. If you're
going for sound, which, again, is one of the bigger factors for me, how a song sounds, then... all our songs sound the same,
I could have, like, instead of Super Trooper at 30, I could have either Waterloo or Fernando would have not changed a thing. It could have, like, they are equal to me.
It's basically the same. ABBA songs sound so similar.
They do.
And
they do.
That's not a bad thing because they don't sound bad.
They all have the same style.
But
absolutely.
That is why ABBA...
well, it's like AC/DC.
Yeah, which is why those two are the kind of things that end up being on the verge of being top 10 or not because of the pure quantity, but not because of the quality necessarily.
Band-wise, yeah.
And for Bon Jovi, I have... okay, at this point I also have a lot of Bon Jovi songs, but even when I started putting Bon Jovi...
the quality is higher.
The quality is like... again, I had 3 fucking Bon Jovi songs on my top 10 list.
There's probably less Bon Jovi songs than there's ABBA songs, but the quality is just higher. Significantly higher.
And that's what makes the band list harder, because ABBA kind of has to be in there, because if I'm putting my playlist on random, there's like 1,000 songs in there.
Like,
chances are I listen to it for like half an hour.
And ABBA played, at least.
ABBA will have more likely than not played.
Yeah.
Bon Jovi might have not played. Because like half as many songs.
The Stones might not have played.
But ABBA, man, so many. Yeah, so many albums.
That's just individual bands. It's like the opposite of the Kershaw effect.
Exactly.
Kind of, right?
As a matter of fact, Kershaw effect did actually, interestingly enough, play a significant role in my top 40 list, but not in my top 10 that much.
Why?
Hard Light was in there, The Riddle was in there, there was some other ones of like bands we don't have that many songs of, but they just fly on the radar, but individual songs made the...
actually, so Hard Light was your top Kenny Loggins song?
Yes.
For me, it was Dangerous Zone.
I noticed, yeah.
But that's like... those are all so close together. Like, sometimes you just need to, like, pick one of that band to kind of represent that artist.
Exactly. That's also what I said about, like, having America in there. Mm-hmm. It could have been Wire to Wire. It wouldn't have changed anything about the list. But I could not, in any way, shape, or form, justify both.
And most of the songs for me on the top 10, that wasn't the case, though. Because there's only one Like a Rolling Stone. That sets itself apart from all of the Bob Dylan songs. Obviously, the same is true for San Francisco and American Pie and stuff like that.
I feel like if I went purely, like, how much would I like the song without taking anything else into consideration, which, again, I did.
Yeah.
Then, again, like, Wire to Wire wouldn't be too far behind America. But do I kick Hey Jude off the list just because I wanted to have 2 Razorlight songs?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't do that.
Well, the question will be which one is better or has been better.
Yeah, and that's why America was one, not Wire to Wire.
No, I'm saying Wire to Wire versus Hey Jude.
Oh.
But if Hey Jude edges it out, then yeah, you need to put it. Right.
But again, like from a pure like, how does the song sound to me? Wire to Wire, probably better.
Yeah.
But not that much. And Hey Jude, it's the Beatles, right? They kind of, first of all, they kind of have to be in there. Almost.
Well, yeah.
And second of all, it is a pretty good song. And you already have a Razorlight song, so that's also one of those factors for me, besides the actual, like, catchiness and sing-along factors. Repeats will get bumped down, like, same band again, will get bumped down purely because of that.
Alright.
So as to have a more variety list.
Yeah, okay, I can see it.
And then other stuff like, how long have I known this song?
Yeah.
That will also bump it a bit.
So let's just, is there any huge disagreements from your side according to, concerning my list, this side of Loch Lomond? Shall I read it out again?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's read our song. Let's do the song. List out again. So, top 10. Californication. Centerfield. Oh, you want to comment on them?
Okay, let me give a quick comment about everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. In my opinion, still the best Pepper song. I had Danny California in my consideration. Okay. It didn't make it, but it's not a bad song. Okay. It's definitely justified of being there.
Centerfield. Johnny.
One of the ones that I wouldn't agree with as much, but it's also not a horrible song, and I do know how much you like John Fogerty, as opposed to me, where it's one of those things that's almost, CCR has been more on the fringes of my tastes,
he's my favorite singer.
So, yeah.
Love the voice. Like a Rolling Stone.
Once again, from a pure musical standpoint, not a great song, but there is a reference in there, and it's not bad.
Yeah. Loch Lomond, we all know.
Yeah.
Gangsta's Paradise. That was kind of the surprise.
It's surprising to be in there, but I can't find a way to disagree with it either.
Exactly. And that was kind of the same with me. Like, there's really, like, there's nothing that kicks it out. So I guess I gotta keep it in there.
That's, again, for me, it would be kicked out if I found, like, 5 better songs than that, because then it would be pushed down, but yeah.
Yeah, I love the song. Proud Mary.
It's, in my opinion, not even the best CCR song, but of course...
Which one is, though?
It's...
What's the name one of the worst CCR songs?
It's tough. It's probably either Fortunate Son...
Okay, Fortunate Son is really good.
Or Have You Ever Seen the Rain?
Fortunate Son is a tier 1 song, I think. Fortunate Son might be the second or third best CCR song.
But, again, purely because of how long we've been listening to it and that kind of stuff, I saw Proud Mary coming, and I can't disagree with it necessarily. So
Fortunate Son is one that could be on here. Like, I wouldn't twitch it out if Fortunate Son was on either mine or your list. Absolutely. American Pie.
Definitely, it's a pretty good song, and again, the same factors with Proud Mary where it's been there the whole time, basically.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
It was my consideration as well, so I can't really disagree with it being there. It's a really catchy song, and it was, for me, also pushed out by the fact that we constantly reference it.
Yeah. San Fran.
It's probably the one on your list that I would almost disagree with most, especially because it being so high. For me, this is not a tier 1 song.
Okay.
It's tier 2, of course, but it's not a tier 1 song to me.
Classic example of different evaluation.
Yeah. It's
my life.
Can't say anything about it. Yeah. I love Bon Jovi.
Yeah, absolutely. Surprised that it's not on your list, honestly, because it's like it's to me it's the obvious pick. And
we had 0 songs in common, didn't we?
Like in total?
Yeah.
What's the list? We don't have a single song.
List
might just be true. That's insane.
Hey Jude.
No.
Lady in Black. Red Flag. Blaze of Glory. California. America. Have a Nice Day. 74, 75. Ruby. And Runaway.
Not one song.
That's
insane.
I knew we weren't going to have that much in common. Because, again, I predicted a lot of... I think I made like 5 predictions or something like that, out of which 3 were right.
Not putting your mind to it at all. You would have just guessed like, oh yeah, there's probably gonna be like a overlap of like 60%. Like most of the songs are gonna be featured.
But after seeing my top 10 list, I knew for a fact you weren't gonna have Ruby or Runaway. I was fairly certain weren't gonna have 74, 75.
Yeah.
Have a Nice Day I was unsure about, but I thought you're probably not gonna have a lot of Bon Jovi songs on there. And I thought if you were gonna put one, it was probably gonna be Born to Follow. Ended up being It's My Life. America, didn't expect you to put it, but could have seen you put it. California, same thing.
Yeah.
Blaze of Glory, also same thing, basically. Red Flag, I didn't expect you to put. Lady in Black, I could have seen you put.
That was one of the closer ones, yeah.
And then Hey Jude. No. So, out of those, I would have actually probably said Lady in Black and Have a Nice Day.
Those would probably be the closest ones.
Be on your list. But I would have thought that at the very most, we might have had overlap of 3, both in songs and artists.
0.
Because we had one overlap in artist, didn't we?
Well, we both had a Bon Jovi on.
We both had Bon Jovi, and that's it, right? You didn't have.
Is that even the case?
Wow. Beatles, Uriah Heep, Billy Talent, John Bon Jovi, Phantom Planet, Razorlight, Bon Jovi, The Connells, Kaiser Chiefs, and Bon Jovi.
Wow, that's true. But that's also because I have a lot of one-offs. There's like there's not that huge quantity of Bob Dylan. I knew you weren't going to put Roderick, probably, especially not Long but American Pie. There's no other Don McLean song that comes to question.
Vincent!
No. Not in the question. Breakfast at Tiffany's. The name of the Deep Blue something song.
I don't know.
San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
Those are one-offs, basically. Which is not even intentional, but that's apparently how it works.
I know! Yeah. I mean, Ruby, 74, 75. Mm-hmm. America, again, like, it could have been Wire to Wire, maybe, but that's about it.
Kershaw,
California.
Reigning Supreme. It's crazy. Yeah.
Red Flag. Lady in Black.
Yeah, all of it.
It's most of the list is one.
Maybe there's some psychological thing to it where that kind of gets into favor, unconsciously, subconsciously.
I that could very much be the thing because I feel like other songs might be pulled down by being compared to the rest of the
kind of being swallowed by the mass, right? Yeah.
Because if you're looking at what's a good example, I don't want to say the Beatles again, but I guess if you look at the Beatles, right? Beatles. Every single song will probably be pulled down a bit by the fact that there's
10 more songs of the same quality,
of similar quality, and so you kind of bunch them up together as all being maybe mediocre, despite maybe deserving to be higher up on this list.
Exactly. If the Beatles had only really like tier 3 mediocre stuff, and say Across the Universe or Fool on the Hill, there's probably a higher chance that one of those would have ended up on the list.
So that's kind of a weird factor that you don't really consciously think about. Yeah. But yeah.
But okay, to me it was more about, I definitely factored in more than you did the history and experience with stuff. But you at least factored in your history with the music.
Yeah.
Which is better than I would have anticipated you to do. I would have thought for you to be even more like spontaneous and just like flavor of the month kind of thing. But at least you took your time.
Flavor of the month is metal.
Exactly. That's what I was afraid of. Because, kind of my mentality or like the base principle of creating this list was, am I confident that I will still agree with this list if I look at it in 2 years and maybe in 5 years?
Okay, so for me, I know for a fact that if I made this type of list again in 2 years, it will definitely be different.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna say, oh, what a fool I was to pick those back then.
Okay. So there's some songs in there that I can't guarantee will be there in like 2 or 3 years, like Californication. Like let's have a look. Maybe Breakfast at Tiffany's even though it was really high. But I know that songs like San Francisco, American Pie, Loch Lomond, Like a Rolling Stone, they're always gonna be there. And I'm gonna be 60 years old, and those are still gonna be absolutely up there.
I mean, songs
because they're ageless, right?
Probably gonna be there for me next time if I do this. Would be Ruby. It's very safe to be there. One Bon Jovi song out of those, probably Runaway.
All right.
I'm trying to look through this. The other ones, I can't guarantee you.
Exactly, right? That's what I was thinking with your list.
But I will not be like, what was I thinking?
Your list seems more short term than mine does, for sure.
I mean, yeah, it definitely is, but I still think, and that's one of those things that I did when I looked over the final list, was like, if I look at this list in 2 years, naturally I'm not going to have the exact same list.
Not the exact same list.
And I don't expect it to be. But will I be thinking, what the fuck was I doing?
Yeah.
Or will I be like, oh yeah, I could see why.
Right.
And
I think for this list, that's the... We're going to keep the list and look at them again in a while.
Digitally archived in form of a podcast.
Correct.
And of course I'm going to add it to some kind of spreadsheet at some point.
Yeah, sure. One more thing that I wanted to name is that dark horse candidate, like the darkest of dark horses on my list. You would have never, like if I gave you right now 100 songs to guess, you would not have get it. 200, not either. Probably not 300.
What, that was in consideration but didn't make it? Or
that might have as well just been on there.
Okay, you're saying there's a song that I will never guess that you could have put on there that you didn't put on there.
And it would have been totally justified.
Okay, let me think for 2 seconds if I can think of anything that would fit that description.
Alright.
And then,
I'm not even sure if I told you the story.
Okay, let me quickly say it's probably not by any artist that's currently on there, otherwise it wouldn't be that much of a dark horse.
Darkest of dark horses.
Oh god, I don't know, man.
It's Puff the Magic Dragon.
Yeah.
Have I told you the story?
Yeah, you did.
My first favorite song.
You told me the story when it was your song of the week.
First song I remember ever knowing. And probably the longest span of consecutively being my favorite song. So of an actual all-time list, there would be no problem with that song being on there. Because between the ages of 5 and 10, that was a hit.
Well,
and I still love the song, by the way.
I like the song too, but of course, for me, I've known the song since you first showed it to me.
Yeah.
I didn't know it before that.
I would have had I had like a nostalgia kind of like backstory segment in the evaluation grid, that might have topped out.
I feel like from mine, that was like basically the second biggest factor for the list is nostalgia.
Yeah. That's why we picked Ruby, Runaway, and all that.
Yeah. I mean, you can see definitely how that informed the list.
A lot. I saw that.
But
it was a factor for me as well with San Francisco and American Pie.
But nostalgia for me also is one of those things that can elevate a song a lot.
Of course, yeah. That was kind of in the emotional category that I had. Right?
That's why
that and the legend category. That was kind of uniting that.
Why I love it when I find a song that I completely forgot about.
Okay.
Because then it has...
But you recognize it, like, I've heard this before.
Yeah, like that's... Again,
like California, by Phantom Planet.
California, yeah. Lady in Black, like, with all of those it happened. Yeah. As a matter of fact, with the majority of my playlists it happened, because, again, back then I didn't know the song titles necessarily, or the artists, so I wouldn't have anything to look for specifically. Yeah.
There are some once in a while that I get, too, like, from the music share as well.
Yeah.
Just recently,
so that's... I love those, because they have the combined factor of, oh my god, this is kind of a...
good song.
A new thing, like, as in, I haven't listened to this, like, repeatedly over the last few weeks and months.
Yeah. I know
and and it has a nostalgia factor.
I know that I already like it, but it's also kind of a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
At the same time.
And being both of those...
It's really good.
It's the greatest thing.
It's a great effect.
That's why when we first shared songs, when you gave me, like, 200 songs.
Yeah. That was a lot of them you took.
There was some of those in there. I think Lady in Black was in there, I believe.
Yeah, possibly.
And every now and again, when I was listening through this, I was really like, oh my god!
That was one of those.
This, and and Lady in Black was one of those. There's a few other ones there.
Probably some CCR stuff. Yeah.
Which you have some, which, like, an incredible way of nostalgia just hits you, like, out of nowhere.
Alright, yeah. Yeah, that's a factor. I mean, that's a strong chemical reaction in your brain.
Yeah.
So of course, it has to be a factor whether you want it to be or not. And I totally agree with that being a legitimate factor. I don't think you can just ignore that. And it's not right to ignore it because we're talking favorites.
Yeah.
Now, if we're talking objectively best and not playing favorites at all, that would not be as much of... I wouldn't agree with your list.
I feel like it's tough for me to make an objective list in general. Because
I think,
if I'm trying to make an objective list, the only thing I can really do is compile other objective lists in consideration of what their reasons were.
Yeah, you could do some more research into like sales and impacts and all that stuff.
But at that point, it's really a pure number game.
Yeah, of course. I believe my list is a lot more tailored toward the top 10 objective best.
Definitely, yeah.
Than yours. With, I would assume that a vast majority of people that no one kind of like Bon Jovi would say It's My Life over Runaway.
Yeah.
Just the regular folk. Proud Mary is probably one of the more recognizable. There is San Francisco Like a Rolling Stone, American Pie, legendary ones. Hey Jude for you? Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, I would think that Red Flag is probably one of the more recognizable songs on this list, weirdly enough.
Red Flag, you think so?
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't think it has a wide enough target audience.
I don't know.
Like, no one under the age of 30 will really know and like that song.
I think so.
Yeah.
I just remember hearing that song every now and again, and
over the age of 30, my bad. Over the age of 30.
Yeah, of course. Didn't you say that the first time around?
I think I said under. Mulligan.
If you did, my brain auto-corrected that.
Yeah, I know. So did mine for a while.
So, that's one of those that I was always like, oh yeah, you do know that song. And then forgot about it again before ever adding it to my playlist. So I heard that I had the factor of rediscovering that a few times.
Red Flag?
Yeah.
So that was one that I didn't rediscover, actually. It's one that I discovered and just added and it's stuck around. It's in the playlist now. There's actually, for me there's a lot less of those songs that I rediscovered. Because I just mentioned, I mentioned before how I went on getting to know most of those songs, right? Listen to one, in the car, pretty good, get on the YouTubes, look up that song. There's 10 more songs of that same band I recommended. Might as well check them out.
So, for me, again, I listened to the radio a lot when I was young.
Yeah, I didn't.
Like,
I always had music hand-picked and prepared for me.
Like preteens and that kind of stuff. There was also a lot of CDs playing.
Like my dad knew what he was doing.
A lot of radio too, and I mean, I've talked about the music with my parents before, and then there was the time when the first time when I started actually getting like music in form of like MP3 files or something like that.
Yes.
I never really owned CDs, but
nope.
So that first started on a class trip in 8th grade.
I was there.
So
I was there.
That was literally just me having, I think, like 4 Minecraft songs on my phone because, that was a thing.
That's how you did.
Dude, like, seriously, that was like 6 years ago.
Yeah, the middle school days, yeah.
So, I had those, and then an acquaintance of mine gave me round about 2 full albums of music.
Alright.
Which I believe actually turns out weren't actually full albums. It was about as many songs from 2 different bands. So, that was good. Which was, by the way, all Coldplay and Sunrise Avenue.
Alright.
That was stuff that was hot shit at the time.
Those are like the mid-rangey...
Like, Sunrise Avenue was a hot shit at the time.
Sunrise Avenue, I'm not that big on. Honestly, not that big on the band.
I'm not anymore.
Coldplay's pretty good. Coldplay's cool.
I'm not anymore either, but that's what I had back then.
Right.
And then at some point, I put those on my computer.
Alright.
Like, shortly afterwards. So that when I wanted to listen to music, like, on a whim, I could listen to that.
Yeah.
And, it wasn't anything bad, but it was never really anything that was...
There, yeah. And that's when you kind of started, right?
Then at some point, I wanted to, for my mother's birthday, make her a CD of some of her favorite songs. So that's how...
Running everywhere.
I think it was before she discovered them. But
she discovered them like back not that far back.
Not that far back, no.
Wow.
I don't think so.
I know that my parents, they've been at like Runrick concerts like decades ago.
I don't know how my mother even
we got a Runrick scarf in the house. Wow. Like, in the building. It's great.
So that's when I then started adding some of those there because most of the stuff that my mother likes, I like, and then like at some point I started every now and again watching some music stuff on YouTube.
Yep.
Like listening to songs. For some reason, the idea of saving them never came to mind.
Okay.
And then, like, at some point later, I ended up actually making a playlist and then later downloading them. So it must have been 1 or 2 years between that. So I haven't really done the thing of having consistent pool of music on my computer.
Yeah.
I started that, like, shortly before basically we became friends again.
Yes.
Like that time, like in front of the gym.
Yeah, the gym.
Yeah.
The old school days.
The days of the old school yard.
Yeah, old school yard. Crazy. Not a prison, by the way.
So...
I didn't meet JJ in prison at all. He was at a different institution all the time. Fact.
And really, after meeting you is when I really started putting a lot of songs on my playlist, because then through you I also rediscovered a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. So that's also why that rediscovery effect is a lot bigger for you, because you had all those, you didn't save them.
Yeah.
And now they're coming back.
Yeah.
And you're getting them again.
Every now and again I still will rediscover a song. And that's also there's definitely some that I recently rediscovered that just weren't eligible for the list yet.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
That's also stuff that might make an appearance on the next top 10 song list.
If we did one, there's definitely if I didn't have the rule, then Over the Circus, Surrender, City of New Orleans would all have been absolutely considered. Like strongly. That would have been top 25, all of them. I think I mentioned it Over the Circus after the evaluation. There was 6.
There was...
it was actually... I think it was tied for 6th place with Have a Nice Day after that one.
There was one Phil Collins song that I would have definitely had in the consideration.
Which is... which one?
Oh, God. You Can't Hurry Love.
Right. That was the one I liked, too. I downloaded that. That's a good song.
I think Save Tonight would have been in there.
Alright.
Again, it might not have made the list, but it would have been in the consideration. I think... Oh, God. The Bee Gees, How Deep Is Your Love?
Yeah.
That might have been, like, a lot of the ones that are, like, Government Set on You by George Harrison.
For the Bee Gees, it would have been either Massachusetts or Staying Alive. Staying Alive, obviously,
Staying Alive,
the best one, yeah. Massachusetts, though, for me personally, because that's one of the really old songs. That was the ones that I discovered along with American Pie in San Francisco.
Out of all the Bee Gees songs I have, Staying Alive is probably my favorite.
Because on the music video of San Francisco, it was always Massachusetts in the first recommended one.
Okay.
For the Bee Gees. That's why.
That's also the whole thing about songs and bands being named after places, right?
Yes.
As a matter of fact, what I recognize about my list is that I have America right above California.
Yeah.
That's the thing that just happened.
I got California indirectly in there several times. There's Californication at San Francisco.
Yeah.
There's American Pie. So apparently that's always in effect. I don't know. So wow, this podcast has been going on for damn near 2 hours.
Yeah, I was about to call out that it was under 2 hours when we finished the list, but then we discussed for like 40 minutes after that.
But we knew that was going to happen too.
Yeah.
And we could frankly go on for another hour, and we might after turning the recording off. But wow.
Yeah, but I don't think there's any more original thought to be had.
No, it's just revisiting the same thing and discussing it more deeply, in more detail. Which becomes less and less interesting for the viewers, so we might cut it at some point. We do still have the Song of the Weeks.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let's do them.
Of course, my Song of the Week is connected to the list and not on the list.
Alright.
It is one of those songs that...
It could have just been like the runner-up song for number 10.
I thought about doing that, but I thought it was going to come up in the conversation anyway, so this
might have been a walk of life for me
then. This is one of those that I had in the depths of my playlist somewhere.
In the depths.
And that
in the bowels of his playlist.
In the process of searching for songs to put in the top 10 consideration, I basically was like, oh yeah, that song exists. Because at this point I have so many songs that if I put it on random, like, I have days worth of songs to listen to, and I will probably reshuffle the playlist before I listen to all of them.
Yes.
So songs can actually be forgotten that are on my computer.
Wow.
What I'm trying to say is my song of the week is Dream On by Aerosmith.
Dream On by Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Does not ring a bell. In my head. In my time.
Fair.
I don't think I know that song, man. It's one of those ones that we'd never shared.
I'm sure you've heard it before.
Well, maybe you gave it to me, and there's a lot of ones you gave me. I just deleted them because I didn't like them enough. But it might have been in there, but it doesn't ring a bell.
Again, of course, it's not a top 10 song or anything, but it's just one that by looking through my music list again, I got reminded of, and I was like, oh, that's not a top 10 song, But it could be a song of the week, so...
Absolutely. Okay,
there it goes.
Song of the week. John Fogerty, man. It Came Out of the Sky by CCR.
Okay.
Been wanting to use it for a while now. And finally I got around to doing it. Wasn't used yet as of the current spreadsheet, which isn't up to date at all.
Yeah. It goes, I think it goes up to 39, then it has 41 and 49 in there.
Yeah, but I don't think it was used. So, yeah, exactly. But I don't think it was used. So, yeah, good song. It's one of those CCR songs. Historical background, too. UFO crash.
I just realized what a pain in the ass it's going to be to export and upload this thing. It's going to take 4 hours total.
Best believe that's going to be fun. Like, Christ. Jesus. Like, editing all of this. But it's a special occasion, man.
Yeah.
50th podcast. So thank y'all for watching. Listening, better yet, because you probably switched to another tab in between. I would have done the same thing. It's always the same image. Remember the giveaway?
We should at some point just add a random
frame somewhere.
Yeah.
And someone who can point it out gets an entry for the giveaway.
Yeah.
5 entries. Maybe. Thank you for watching, listening. Remember the giveaway? Go back, check out all the videos.
Again, it starts on Wednesday, so don't shout at us for not having it on the Monday or Tuesday video.
Not right now. It starts on Wednesday. Cool.
It might start on Tuesday depending on how I end up cutting the last 2 episodes of the Monster Hunt, which might be one.
From the stream
but I think it's gonna be 2.
Okay, so running up until July 31st is the first giveaway. After that, we might launch a new one. That's in the future.
More about that when and if that happens.
Yeah. Opinions on music, man. This is all I'm gonna say about this comment section today. Opinions on music.
Yeah.
2-hour podcast. Drop a like. This has been more work than we've ever done. Like, I can confidently say that I've put more work into this specific one video than I ever have into any other TrashcanTV video. And I've spent 8 hours just editing Telltale.
I'm honestly unsure because while I did put a lot of time into the actual music consideration, I also remember some
This has been half a year in the making for me, man.
Yeah, for me it's been like this week I've listened to a lot of music for this, but I also for the first AGT I put in a lot of work. First of all, trying to figure out how to even visualize that, and then actually putting together the visuals, timing, and that kind of stuff.
Not to plug shit, but there's currently a video on my own channel, Alex's Opinions, that I probably have put more time into already than any other video ever. It's on football, just saying. And it should actually be released kind of soon because I'm getting close.
While we're plugging shit, I'm also gonna bring out a new video soon.
He is. Go sub to both of our channels, man.
I can't guarantee that it's out by the point where this podcast is because I still need to record it, but I made the graphics
that's cool.
2 weeks ago.
That's at least something. You just gotta record the audio, man, and edit it.
Yeah, I've never felt like doing that for some reason.
Yeah, I get it. So, alright, let's end this, man. We basically hit 2 hours. What a journey, man. Are we gonna do something special for 52? Maybe like, it's been a year, maybe just reviewing stuff, like...
We'll figure out something.
We'll do some, just be sure to turn back. 51's gonna be the crowd cooler, I guess.
Yeah.
So, thank you for... Doesn't mean you're not supposed to listen to it, though. It's gonna be good. Thank you for listening. We are gonna see you next time, and next week, starting with the giveaways, probably on Wednesday. Day.
That's it?
That's it.